You're listening to the Behind Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Chris, and I got to tell you about Expedition Roasters. Listen, I'm a pretty big coffee drinker, just like a lot of you are, but these people have got coffee right. Their coffees are made from selectively sourced premium and specialty grade Arabica beans. They provide the absolute best flavor and aroma, and select roasts even come directly from a single estate farm for a truly perfect cup that is never bitter. They've got awesome Disney-inspired flavors such as Roundhouse Roast, Route 66, Skipper's Brew, Dark Side Roast, Redhead Rum, and one of my favorites, Bobsledder's Brew. Listen, if you want to have the taste of Disney in every cup, give them a try today. ExpeditionRoasters.com, and Behind the Ears podcast listeners gets an extra 20% off your first order by using the coupon code EARS20. That's right, EARS20. And you can find them over at ExpeditionRoasters.com. Brew your happy place. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I'm Uncle Danny, the man in the red. No, that is not Mr. Kool-Aid Man. That is Mr. Chris. Sir, how are you? Before I let you even say hi, that was not a fat joke. I know it probably is. People are going to assume that's what it was. And he was just wearing a very bright colored.
And here I was going to say, oh yeah. Listen, I've heard it all before. I'm sure I'll hear it all again. Nothing new, and that's okay. But no, I'm doing really, really good, getting back into the swing of things. If people haven't kind of figured it out, I was out last week, and I took a little trip with my beautiful spousal support unit, my wife. I went down to Disney for a few days, and gotta tell you, man, I enjoy going down there with just my wife. It's actually an entirely different way of doing Disney is when you're just doing a couples type trip, because you do a lot of things that basically you wouldn't do with the kids. And boy, it was a lot of fun. I gotta tell you a couple things. One, a 5 a.m. flight out of Indianapolis is too early in any time zone. Yeah, it was one of those cases. Okay, so here's the deal. We flew in and out of Indianapolis this time, which, by the way, for those of you who are in the Indianapolis area, that is an absolutely fabulous airport. It was one of those cases that my son was actually going to a scout camp south of Indianapolis, and what we were going to do is that we were going to do our little trip, come back into Indianapolis, stay one more night, then see our son at scout camp for the closing ceremonies and stuff, which is in essence what we did. And it was also a little cheaper to fly out of Indianapolis. And so the thing is that we went down there and we stayed at a hotel that was only a couple miles from the airport, stayed there free on Hilton points. And we were kind of stuck out in the middle of nowhere, kind of like in the middle of not a residential, like a business area. And we just kind of got some sleep and only got a few hours worth of sleep. Got up at like 2:30 in the morning. Left the hotel by 3, got to the airport by 3:15, and I'm glad we left a little early, because I've only been there one other time, and that was to pick you up for the Indy Disney last year. It is a very nice airport, but here was the problem: at nighttime, if you don't know where you're going, you end up in the commercial vehicles only lane, and you end up taking a lap around the airport. Well, I'm thinking to myself, it's Indianapolis. It's the racing capital of the world. It wouldn't be Indianapolis if you didn't take a lap around something. So I took a lap around the airport before I got to the parking place. So we got in there and nothing was open. It was hilarious. And got onto the plane, and I thought I was going to be really tired and, sleep and stuff like that. No, not one bit. Didn't sleep. Wide awake, really excited.
Aww.
I mean, dude, we landed in Orlando at like 2 minutes after 7 in the morning. I mean, it was absolutely, we only waited like maybe 5 minutes for a DME bus, and then maybe waited another 5 minutes before we actually, got to a.
That's not bad.
No, it was lickety split. I mean,
I've waited like 45 minutes in total. The worst is I don't care about waiting in that line for the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I care about when I get on that bus and you're not moving.
Oh yeah, you wait, and then all you're doing is watching the Mickey cartoons, which isn't bad. Hey, I like a good Mickey cartoon.
But by the time you get to the hotel, you've watched it 3 times.
Yeah, a true statement. And so it was kind of neat because it was like Saratoga was the first spot, our first resort that they were stopping at, and that's where we stayed. We actually rented some points from a mutual friend of ours, and it was, I'll tell you right now, the whole renting of points bit, even for me being a DVC member, is actually really a great idea. And we checked in, and I put in through touring plans the whole room request bit. I had a specific room that I would really like, or at least in that general area. Because one thing I really wanted was I wanted a view. I wanted a view of downtown. I keep doing that. Disney Springs. And so I'll go ahead and cut to the chase on this one. I got the message saying that our room was ready, and it was in a different building. It was on the second floor. I wanted to be on the top floor, and I'm like, oh. And it was just like one of those things. I'm like, can't wait to see what this looks like. When I got to the room that night, oh my gosh, I had the most beautiful view of Disney Springs. I was pretty much right in line with like where the House of Blues was, overlooking the river there. Could see the balloon right there up in the air. Could see the boathouse. I could see Cirque du Soleil. It was an absolutely stunning view, even though it was the second floor. I was pleased. I was very pleased. I will say this: when I checked in, I mentioned that this was an anniversary trip of ours, and I really didn't care where we were. I just wanted a nice view of Disney Springs. And I have a feeling that cast member that checked me in gave me a little bit of extra magic. And I simply just made a comment. I didn't ask. I didn't really request. I didn't I must have view.
You didn't demand it.
I didn't demand it. I was just very nice. Very, I was tired. I just kind of wanted to get going. And it was just really an absolute stunning view. I will tell you a few things that I did that I thought was really cool. First off, I wanted to touch on Disney Springs in of itself. I know that a lot of people were talking about how World of Disney is now partially reopened. And that's exactly what it is. It's partially reopened. And there was a lot of people that, unfortunately, were giving it a lot of hate, a lot of negative comments about it. And I walked in there and I thought to myself, wow, this looks great. It was bright. It was airy. It had a lot of different things in there. Obviously not everything that it had before. And the other half is going to be opened up by the end of the fall. But it was so much easier to navigate and find your way through it. I got to tell you, I really liked what they did. And also the cast members that we talked to really liked how it turned out. It was really, really cool. And I know a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't feel like Disney. It doesn't feel like the World of Disney and this, that, and the other. I really liked it. I enjoyed going in there and looking for different things. It just made, I just think it makes such a big difference. We'll just have to see how it goes. So yeah. And, Elizabeth, you mentioned that you saw me in line at Haunted Mansion. Next time, shout out something, go, hey, Mr. Chris. That's the biggest thing, man. I wish you would have said something. Would have stopped and would love to say hi to you. Anytime anybody sees me, I mean, I'm still not going to tell people when I'm going, but I'm not going to stop people from saying hi or taking a selfie or this, that, and the other. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to, be devious about when I'm going. It's just a personal preference. Y'all know that by now, but, you're always welcome to stop, say hi, and, this, that, and the other. So we did, Epcot the first day, and pretty much nailed everything we wanted to do. I will tell you something that I did that I've never done before. And Danny, this is something you ought to try as well. Okay. You're especially when you go by yourself, you're a headphones person. You put on headphones and you listen to different things while you're walking around in Descent. You've got to try this. There is somebody that created, and I'll have to find a link and put it up on the community page and the Behind the Ears podcast page. There is someone that created an alternative soundtrack to Test Track. And it's done to the themes of Tron Legacy. And you start it right after your car starts, after the seatbelt check. And it kind of goes through different scenes of the movie while you're going through what looks like a Tron movie in of itself. If you kind of
what ride is this?
Test Track.
Oh,
okay.
Test Track. Okay.
So I was like, I had my headphones. Actually, I forgot that I had my headphones wrapped around my neck, because I have a pair of wireless Bluetooth headphones I had on the plane. I'm like, oh, I'm so going to try this. And sure enough, we did single rider line. I plugged it in, I played it, and I thought to myself, not only was that cool, the soundtrack itself cool, but it was very well synced with the ride. And it was a whole lot of fun. It actually put a whole different spin on the ride itself. I mean, there are some people that thinks that the new ride is a little less, appealing. And I thought that doing this little thing with the alternative soundtrack, I just thought that was so cool. But yeah, so that's what we did. We did a lot of walking around. Actually, we also met up with some friends of ours that were neighbor friends of ours. And, they kind of joined us kind of as a couple's trip, but they kind of joined us. They needed a vacation. It was wonderful to have them around. We just walked around, saw different things, ate a lot of stuff. Oh yeah. All I got to tell you this, I love that grapefruit beer over in Germany. I just thought it was really, really good. We did Soren. We did, everything over there on one side. We very much did everything we really wanted to do. And the cool part about it is, we actually went to Tapanito for dinner, the second trip. And gosh, I love that place, dude. You've been there before, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I love that place. Enrique is asking, have I played with the new Play Disney app and get achievements? This time I didn't. And the main reason is that because I was with my wife and my friends, I kind of just paid attention to them and not necessarily my phone. In fact, the only time I really pulled out my phone, was to find out FastPass information and other wait times and things like that. Really, I think the Play app is really cool. I have played with it before during my previous trip in June, and I think it's actually really cool. The thing is that like anything else, some people like to play games and stuff like that on their phones. Either with my family or just my wife, we tend to do a lot of talking as a family. And I'll tell you about that in a minute, Mary. And so it was really, really cool. So, but we did go to Tapanito and rolled us out of there. That was absolutely fabulous. I had like the steak and shrimp combo. Oh gosh, we had a really wonderful really wonderful chef. And then we pretty much walked out of there and walked over to the bridge between the UK and France, and watched illuminations. And then we slowly worked our way out afterwards. It was a whole lot of fun. Our friends actually, they were staying at a campground in a cabin, a place that they have a timeshare with, and we went back to Saratoga. Next day, we went to Magic Kingdom, and that's Monday. This is Tuesday. Did Magic Kingdom all day. Pretty much did everything we really want. We really didn't hit a lot of heavy crowds. There was one time where one time where different rides went down because of rain, but there was somebody that dropped their phone into the load area of Splash Mountain. But here's the kicker. It was their phone, and it was one of those phones with a little case, right? Had their credit cards, driver's license, room key. Yeah, they stopped the ride to see if they could actually get to it, and
did they get to it?
No, it was pretty much gone forever.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was one of those things. Like we were waiting in line. We were talking to one of the cast members, and we were kind of at that point where like, uh-oh, this is not good. But that was one of the reasons why it slowed down on us. Some of the other things is that it rained quite a bit, but it was like 20 minutes here, sun, 20 minutes there, sun.
Yeah.
It wasn't like just get it over with, and that was it. It was really pretty bad. And when it rained, everything got really crowded, but we just did some alternative attractions. And then by the time we were done, the lines were down.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really, the way we did it, we never waited more than 45 minutes in line. And that was like a long time. We didn't get to do a couple things. We didn't get to do Buzz. We didn't get to do Thunder, but that's okay. It wasn't really that big of a deal. I did a mobile order for Zoll Whips. That was awesome because there was like a line that looked like it was at least a half an hour. I did my order while I was in watching Enchanted Tiki Room, and then took care of that. And then we took our friends over to the Top of the World Lounge to watch Illuminations. Yeah, that was the night before, to watch Happily Ever After, and our friends were just like blown away. They just absolutely loved being in the Top of the World Lounge, and I was really glad that we were able to do that. But Wednesday is the piece de resistance. We got to Animal Kingdom pretty much at rope drop, except they let everybody in about 20 minutes early. So we were going to make a mad dash for Flight of Passage because we didn't have fast passes for it. Started out as a 60-minute line, ended up being 2 hours in line for it. I know that you're like, no way. The line went all the way back to Africa, right by the bathrooms, by the Vessel of the Lion King, and sort of looping backwards. And it was a long line. And if it wasn't for the fact that we were with some friends that really wanted to do it, they're like, I don't care if we have to wait 3 hours. We're going to go on Flight of Passage. Okay. It's
not worth it.
The thing of it is
it's a great ride. Nothing is worth wasting that long of a day.
I listen. Normally, I would agree with you. The thing is, our first fast pass didn't end until 11:30. We had time. So we had a good time though. That's the thing. Yeah, it was a long wait. We had a fun time in line. They never got to see the actual inside queue before for Flight of Passage. And they really enjoyed seeing the details in the queue itself. And so that was the thing. Now, Chris actually made a good point. Don't do Flight of Passage rope drop. Do it at like 3 to 5 p.m. The problem of that one and I normally would have done that, Chris, but we had to leave around 2:00 anyway, 2:30 because we had a spa appointment over at Saratoga. But before that, I'll tell you the story about the phone. So after Flight of Passage, it started raining, and it started raining heavily. And I had my phone in my front pocket of my jacket. It was inside of a plastic case and inside of a phone case on top of that. And the interesting part to it is that I recently, before I left, I waterproofed my jacket. And the previous rain that happened on Tuesday, all the water just beaded right off of my jacket. Didn't think twice. My phone didn't get wet. So I had my phone in the pocket again. And so when we were on Kilimanjaro Safari, I reached into my pocket to get my phone. And my phone was hot. Not warm, not slightly tepid. I'm talking, ow, what the heck is in my pocket? My phone was hot. I'm like, this is not good. It would not turn on. So I pulled the battery out to kind of make sure nothing caught on fire or whatever. I didn't know what was going on. And so I'm like, I have a feeling that my phone just got toasted. And so the rest of the day, I didn't have my phone. After we left and we went back to the room to kind of get ready for our spa appointment, we went ahead and I just put it on the table, let it all cool down, and I just let it sit there. So after our spa treatment, we kind of hung out a little bit at the spa. I got to tell you something. We had a couples massage that was absolutely heavenly. Seriously, especially you guys out there, do a couples massage with the one you love, because I got to tell you something. It's worth it. It was really worth it. And if I'm not mistaken, DVC members had a huge, huge discount through a certain date in August. And we had like a 40% off on our spa treatment. It was fabulous. So really super enjoyed that. And then we actually got dressed, went back to the room, got ready for dinner, and we went to the Yachtsman Steakhouse. Have you ever been to the Yachtsman Steakhouse?
That I have.
I gotta tell you,
22-day aged meat.
We didn't get that. I will admit we didn't get it because that was like there was like the only thing they had aged was like a porterhouse for two, and my wife had the fillet in mind. She's like, I want the fillet. I said, okay. And I went ahead and I decided I wanted the prime rib. I haven't had prime rib in 10 years. And so, the thing is that, I'll get into a couple of the questions people are throwing out there about Yachtsman in a minute. Yachtsman, everything is a la carte. Now, it came with like one small starchy side. And like mine was like a sweet potato casserole. And Kathy had mashed potatoes. Now, we also got a steakhouse side, two of them. One was cream spinach. And one was this like cheesy corn bake. Funny thing is, he said, yeah, it's probably big enough to go ahead and share. Yeah, he's not kidding. I should have only ordered one of them because it was just a lot of food. And that prime rib melted in my mouth. Oh,
they have really good meat there.
It was absolutely wonderful. And to be very honest, for the quality of the meal that we had, it was completely worth it. I know that it's expensive to go to a really nice restaurant at Disney. This was no exception, but the service was top notch. Our server was very personable, really super enjoyed talking with him. did not rush us. We were one of the last people in the restaurant altogether. And we actually took a minute. We saw one gentleman in a suit. Anytime you see a cast member in a suit at a restaurant like that, that person is the manager. And if you get a chance to go over and shake his hand and give him a compliment, they'll they absolutely appreciate it. And that's what we did. We went and told the manager that our server was absolutely wonderful, and he really appreciated us coming in there. So to answer, I will tell you this. I'll answer a couple questions. Mary, you're asking how much extra is the Wagyu steak over and above the dining plan. I think it was like a $30-some upgrade. I'm not sure if you can do that automatically with the deluxe dining plan. I know there were some things that you couldn't do with dining plan, but it said dining plan. It didn't necessarily say deluxe dining plan. Now the interesting part is that the thing is that the way that our meal was, I don't think it's worth 2 credits at a dining plan. But because in order to get 2 credits at a dining plan, you have to pretty much spend almost $100 a person. And even our meal was not $100 a person. No. But it was absolutely fabulous. From there, we grabbed a bus from the yacht club over to Disney Springs. We walked through Disney Springs and just enjoyed the evening. I will say this. Do you remember, not too long ago, within the last couple of weeks, there was a rumor going around that there was going to be a new storyline over at the Void in regards to Wreck-It Ralph? Do you happen to remember that little tidbit of info?
I do not. I'm going to be completely honest.
Okay. So supposedly there's going to be a new... Right now the storyline over at the Void is Star Wars related. And so I heard that the new one was going to be Wreck-It Ralph related. So I walk in there. Now, mind you, this was almost 10 o'clock or almost 11 o'clock at night. And there was someone that said, you know what? I'm going to go in there and ask. And so I said, I would like to ask a question. And I don't know if you're going to have an answer. And I said, is it true, the rumors I'm hearing about Wreck-It Ralph becoming a new story that might be offered here? And basically I got a very corporate-esque answer. The person I talked to was like, you'll have to ask corporate on that. I can't confirm or deny whether or not there's a new storyline coming into play in regards to Wreck-It Ralph. She was very apprehensive. Like, why are you asking me? Like, how dare you come in here and ask me about this? How dare you talk about rumors? It was really actually pretty funny. I walked out of there. I looked at Kathy. I said, oh yeah, she knows. She knows she can't tell me either. So that was really pretty cool. I hope so, because I got to tell you, I really loved going to the Void. So to be very honest with you, the next day was, Thursday. We went to Olivia's for breakfast with our friends, and we just kind of hung out there for a little bit, hung around Saratoga for a bit, because then it started raining. It was really pretty icky. We actually went back to back to Disney Springs to hang out with our friends down there. We went to Disney Style, went all walking around all over. It was just a whole lot of fun. And it did rain a little bit, so we kind of just hung out before our DME bus. Our friends were actually driving back home here. And so we just kind of parted ways from there and just realized that was a great trip, and we hope to do it again next year. Finances and time and everything, willing. But I got to tell you something. It was a really good trip. It was kind of warm. It was kind of muggy at times. Yes, there was a lot of rain. Yes, my phone got destroyed. Yes, we ate a lot. And I took a lot of pictures. At least the ones that I could before the rains came. So I hope to be posting some of those up. So our studio at Saratoga was absolutely fabulous. And what can I tell you? I mean, without going step by step, moment by moment, those are the highlights. And I absolutely had a great time. And as I said, I hope to do it soon again.
All right. sounds like a good trip.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys had some good times. Since that just ran a little bit longer than normal, let's just stay on that. And we'll move to the food topic next week.
Sure.
I mean, next show. Anything you didn't like?
Well,
any bad service anywhere? Bad food?
Dude, seriously, no. I mean, I will tell. Okay, I'll tell you one thing I'll tell you a couple tips. Other than the bad thing of my phone frying, here's the ironic part to it. My wife, the day before we left from the Disney store locally, had this really cool Ariel themed waterproof bag that you can put your phone in, and then it kind of like folds over and ziplocks and buttons down. And she said, "Oh, maybe I should get one of these for you, but it's Ariel. I didn't know if you really wanted it." I'm like, "Are you kidding? It's Ariel. I'll take it." Well, she goes, "Okay, well, we didn't get a chance to get it before I left. I now have one of those bags for my next trip so I don't fry my phone in the water." Okay, that's one. 2. There was not a single time that we had bad service. Bus service was really good. Only one time did we wait more than 20 minutes. It was about 30 minutes for a bus leaving a park. I was actually leaving Animal Kingdom on Wednesday. For some reason, it was the middle of the day, and we just waited a lot longer than usual. That was the one time that we had an issue. I got, and I'm going to have to put a link out on the pages for this, but I got the coolest reusable cup or bottle. It looks like a bottle like this, except it's a 20-ounce bottle. And what happens, it's downstairs being cleaned, but it actually is separated here at the top, and you can twist it off. So the top part with the lid comes off. And what I did, I was able to fill it with ice and then fill it with water, put the top back on, take off the cap, fill all the rest up with water. And I had ice cold water in a bottle, a reusable bottle for my trips. And I would just go by and get, free cups of ice water, or if it was like the electric umbrella, I just go by and fill it up. And I have one of my Mickey rubber tethers on it. It has a little carabiner on it. Clip it to my camera bag. It just hangs from my leg. My wife had one too, and we always had water at our disposal. And I think that really made a big difference, because there were some times where it just got really freaking hot.
Oh yeah.
It was just one of those things. Let me see. Let's see. Did I do any additional table services? No, the only 2 we did was Tepanito and the Yachtsman. Those are the only 2, because we didn't plan for any others, and it was as simple as that. Let's see. How many times did I go? Where, Renee? I'm not sure how to answer your question. Christine, you mentioned that, you don't mind if it rains. They have amazing rainbows. That was one thing I didn't catch. I didn't catch a rainbow this time. But I really didn't. I don't really have any complaints. It was easy to get up to the top of the World Lounge. It was not too crowded up there. Although I saw something up there for the first time, and it totally caused my wife to just totally jump up and down happy. And that was the pictures of the monorails behind the bar. I never saw that. I never saw them before. And my wife, being the ultimate monorail fan, I walked in there, I saw that, and I said, "Honey, you got to come in and see this." And she looked, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh." She just went totally nuts. It was actually really, really cool. Yes, I also did Olivia's too, Mary. You're absolutely correct. Oh, which parks? I went to Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Animal Kingdom. No, I did not go to Hollywood Studios. In case that was that. Did I get the water bottle in the park? No, I did not get the water bottle in the park. I actually got it from Amazon, and they were about $10 a piece. I think it was like $8.50 or $9 a piece. Prime shipped.
It's not bad.
No, it really isn't. How many times have I been to Disney World? I've lost count after a few dozen. But yeah, the water bottles, seriously, take into consideration, the whole idea that, straws are kind of going away and this, that, and the other. I would rather just put my drinks in my reusable bottle and just take it with me however that goes. I would just rinse them out. And, like if I go to a resort, I would just use the bottle wash and just rinse them out that. So, Carol, I'm going to go ahead and post a link out on both the Behind Ears podcast page as well as the WDW community page where you guys can go ahead and take a look. There's one thing I will tell you. On Amazon, they have a wide variety of them, but this particular brand, the cheapest I saw was like $9. Some people were selling them for $15 to $20. So you got to just be careful. Where is the Top of the World Lounge? Mike asks. That is on the top of Bay Lake Tower, and it's only available to DVC members. And that's the short end. There are some other regulations to it. You have to have a membership card. So meaning you have to either have bought your contract from Disney, or you have to have bought a resale contract before a particular date. So it is open to DVC members and their guests. Let's see. Oh, John was saying that. I'll say what Chris says. I hope that with straws leaving Disney, they decide to do a refillable mug in the parks like Universal.
This man is a genius.
You're absolutely right.
I've been only saying it for 2+ years now that they need to get on this.
Hey, I completely agree. If you're going to take away straws and possibly lids like they have done over at Animal Kingdom, you might as well go with a refillable mug system, just like you do at the parks. But please make the mug like decent sized. And if you're really smart, you would have a carabiner clip, or at least the ability to put a carabiner clip on it so you can clip it on your side or something. Absolutely agree with that idea, Chris. I mean, just makes total, complete sense. I mean, the refillable bottles that I got were perfect, for places, especially in Animal Kingdom. We would go and drink our drink with dinner, refill it, or refill our cup, take it back, put it in a bottle, and just be done with it. And that's how we would carry it around. Just the idea of reducing the waste and reducing the footprint, I think just makes a total complete sense.
This has been the easiest show of my life.
Well,
I've been saving this is perfect because Thursday I'm not going to shut up. I saw a couple people say that. I was like, this is wonderful. I could literally just, Chris, you just keep talking. Lull me to sleep here.
Lull you to sleep. Does that mean I'm boring? Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot.
You have a calming voice.
I have a calming voice. It's time for smooth jazz with Dan.
No, you can't take my smooth jazz. Go over your own line.
The thing is, Gabriella has a point though. The mugs are a pain to carry around. That's why I think the mugs need to be designed in such a way where they are not a pain to carry around. The cool part is that, as I said, I had it's like a rubber Mickey. It's really thick, heavy rubber. It snaps around the neck and has a carabiner on the side. There's also certain bottle straps that you can put it around your bottle and it'll just hang around from your neck. Now it gets a little heavy, but this is one of those as well. And they actually started having a lot more of those reusable items at different places around the parks, and around the parks as well as the resorts. So I want
to bring something up here.
Yeah, what's that?
This comment right here.
The Six Flags in New
Gabrielle,
Jersey does it.
What are you doing going to Six Flags in New Jersey? You trust that place? Oh my goodness. I used to have season passes there until I was in high school. I don't live essentially that far from there. You're putting your life in your own hands when you go there.
Great Adventure, is that what it is?
Yeah, Great Adventure, Six Flags.
I've been there once.
Jackson? Really? New Jersey?
Yeah. I went. Let's see. Hopefully my wife's not listening, but there was a time where I dated somebody before my wife, and she actually lived out in Delaware. Delaware? Yeah, Delaware. And so one time we decided, hey, let's go up to Jersey to go to Great Adventure up there. Yeah, it was a good time, but that was also 25 years ago, maybe. So,
Danny, when is your next trip to Disney? TBD.
but we are talking. We're talking about something.
We're talking about a possible Mr. Chris, Uncle Danny trip in the near future. We will see. A lot of things got to work out the right way. Perfect storm here.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting if we're able to pull that one off. But we're just gonna wet everybody's whistle and make people wonder. But if it happens, we will certainly let everybody know. It'll definitely not be a secret for both of us. We'll definitely let everybody know. So, but yeah, which is better, Tepanito or Flying Fish? I've never been to Flying Fish, but But the thing is, I think Tepanito. I mean, I don't think you can compare the two. I don't know.
Yeah, completely different menus.
Yeah, I mean, one's Japanese, one is seafood. And
American. I would call Flying Fish more American cuisine.
Is it?
I don't know. They have a lot of seafood.
Yeah,
but it's definitely more Americanized with their seafood. How they do it.
I mean,
completely different.
I've never been there myself, and not because I haven't wanted to. I just really haven't had the chance to be honest with you. But Tepanito to me is wonderful Japanese cuisine that I think almost anybody can enjoy. And it's kind of a show at the same time. Oh, dude, the people that were at the table with the four of us, they were like day number 3 or 4 out of 23 days that they had planned.
It's too much. 23
days. They were all staying on DVC points for the entire time. They were already at Tepanito once, and they had it like planned for another 4 times during the next 23 days.
I love Disney. We all love Disney. 23 days is a long time to only eat Disney food and deal with that many people. Disney food's wonderful, but doesn't it come a point you want a home cooked meal? Like you just want to kick your feet up in your cozy pants. I call them my lazy pants, and just like watch a ball game, knock back, and like just hang out. Like, I don't know, sit in some grass and not like have to pay $130 to sit in your lawn. I'm just saying, like, it comes to a point where like, ooh, that's a little too much.
We kind of found out they were a group of teachers. They were all family and they were all teachers. So they were on spring break summer break. And so we all walked out of there, and my wife and I'm like, how many points do you have to have in order to stay for that many nights? And we kind of figured it out. They needed like 425 points in order to stay in different studios. They were like staying at Saratoga and stuff like that for a few nights. So I was like, wow. Yeah, but it was really pretty. It was pretty intense. I think it would be really, really nuts. Let's see. How do you stay in 23 points or 23 days? Yeah. That's a lot of points. I mean, when I first became a DVC member, they threw us a lot of extra points, and I actually had enough to stay on Disney property for nearly a month if I wanted to have done that. So I think to go to Tepanito 4 times and a trip like that, yes, I think it would be really cool. But I also think that it was one of those cases where it's like there's so many other places that you can go. So it's just
that's a lot of points.
It is
520 points. That's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. The thing is, I think if I had that kind of points, I'd be staying in one bedroom villas all the time. So yeah, it's just one of those things. A couple of people were asking questions about the announcement that Guy Fieri's restaurant was coming into Disney Springs. What do I think about it? I don't, to be honest with you. I'll probably go ahead and try it. I'm not a huge fan.
I love the price point.
What? I'm sorry.
Nothing's going to be over $7. Love the price point.
I heard that, and I mean, I'd like to see what kind of quality you get for that, though. He said, okay, and here's kind of the reason why I say that. So there is a restaurant in Lafayette, Indiana, right near the campus of Purdue University called the Triple X Family Restaurant. And for the past 5 years, me going up and down I-65, kept on seeing the sign that said, "Come visit the XXX family restaurant." You know, Guy Fieri was there from Dine-Ins, Drivers, and Dives. I'm like, okay, so I always wanted to do it. So on the way down on the way down to Indy, my wife and I like, well, we're both getting kind of hungry. We've always wanted to try it. She pulled out her app, found it, sent the directions to Diz Truck One, and it rerouted us over there. And I wasn't all that impressed. And if that's the kind of place, if that's the kind of food that impresses Guy Fieri, I don't know. We'll just have to see about that. Well, will I still try it? I bet you any money I'll try it. I might not try it the first, when it comes out, but I'm sure I'll probably go ahead and try it. I'll be more than happy to give a really solid, open-minded review. There's not many places in Disney Springs where you can get anything for $7. Closest thing is to go to Blaze Pizza. You go to Blaze Pizza, you can get yourself a whole pizza for like $8 or something like that. And it's good.
You also
pizza.
might die a little bit on the inside.
Yes, I know. Danny, I understand. And I love you, man. You and your pickiness about pizza. And your ears are...
I mean, at that point, you might as well just rent a car, go to Walmart, and buy a DiGiorno or an Elio's, because that's all you're getting. It would be cheaper for you to rent a car and go to Walmart and buy Elio's pizza than it would be buy a pizza from like Pop. I'm not lying. What's a Pop pizza go for? $15-$16? No, probably over 20.
For what?
Room service?
Oh,
for a pizza at Pop, gotta be over $20. Gotta be.
Yeah, it's really pricey for what you get, and I don't. Let's put it this way: it's okay for Disney pizza even. I mean, again, you say okay, you got to roll your eyes a little bit, because I know you and I both come from different towns that are very known for their style of pizza. That's just, that's all I'm saying. I'm a deep dish kind of guy, Chicago deep dish kind of guy, always will be. I know you're the kind of, you like the kind of pizza that's so thin you can see through it and you can fold it in half. Hey man, I think it's really cool that we both like different types of pizza. Blaze Pizza is actually really pretty good. I like it.
You could tell on his show when he really likes a restaurant, when he doesn't.
Well,
I'm assuming you're talking about Guy, not me.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I'll go ahead and try it. There's so many other places that I haven't tried yet, though. That's the thing. There are so many places that I have yet to try at Disney Springs. I mean, I walked past, I still want to go to the Boathouse. I still want to try that one cupcake place. Actually, both cupcake places. The Bakery NYC.
We might go to the Boathouse if we do a trip, because that's how well the Boathouse did it. That's how much I enjoyed the Boathouse.
Oh, you've been there?
Yeah, I went with Jess and Nick.
I did not realize that. I want to go there, and actually, I would love to try STK.
I want no part of STK. Personal reasons.
I don't know. I mean, I've always wanted to try it again. I think I want to try the Boathouse first.
Like overpriced and fancy for what I've seen them get. When people, that's just personal.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm strayed away from it. I really want to go to the Boathouse because it looks really good.
It's so good. To me, if I'm going to STK, I could save myself a few bucks, and I'm going to Raglan Road, and I'm getting me some fish and chips and listening to some music outside. Homecoming, yeah. I mean, it's tough for me to go to Disney Springs and not go to Polite Pig.
Yeah. Walk past there, dude, the smell coming from that place was just like, if I wasn't already full, because we actually, the funny part is that we walked past there like shortly after we had dinner at the Yachtsman. I'm like, oh, I'm full, but dang, that smells so good.
You got any final words before we part out of here?
I know we talk a lot about food, and I know that the next episode is going to be very food laden. I hope everybody brings a snack to Thursday night's recording session. My take on it is this, there are certain things that Danny and I like to talk about, and we don't always talk a lot about trip reports. I'll be honest with you. I did this last trip not thinking about even doing a trip report, only because I was merely concentrating on just spending time with my wife. But at the same time, we would love to hear some of your trip report adventures. We would love to hear about it. And if you got a good story, we may even want to have you on the show. It's not trip reports are not necessarily a focus of ours here, but we like to try to get people to share their experiences so that everybody could have different opinions of different things of what to do and what not to do. Everybody does Disney differently. And, the thing is it's hilarious because, I'm reading some comments about, hey, some people really liked one thing. Some people really didn't like the same thing, but it's always good to hear the differences in people's opinions. And quite honestly, I think it helps people plan just by hearing a lot of good, solid reviews from different things. So I don't have anything else. Danny, do you got any last questions for me or anything else like that about the trip or what have you?
No questions for you. Sounds like you had a fantastic trip. I will say this. Chris was able to participate with the Crazy for Disney podcast on Sunday, where they did a telethon to raise money. We shared it all over the page. I know I was slated to join that night. I had a prior engagement that I could not move, come up. Well, be there. I just couldn't move it. So Chris did a fantastic job. If you haven't watched that recap, head on over. It's on the Crazy for Disney page. You can see on the Crazy for Disney podcast page, or you could just, find it on our page. We posted it over there as well. They're raising money for a fantastic cause. I want to get this right. It's for cancer awareness. Am I correct?
Right, for the American Cancer Society.
Research, American Cancer Society.
Right.
So I guess it's a little bit of all of that. Guys, listen, like I know we literally just asked you to, shake out your piggy banks a couple weeks back. With the Give Kids the World. But seriously, guys, they do a fantastic job over at the Crazy for Disney podcast.
It was a lot of fun.
Listen, we there's a lot of shows out there, man, that we don't like, and we just don't bring them up. So if we bring them up, it's a solid show. So seriously, head on over, subscribe to their page, subscribe to their podcast, give them a listen. Rudy's a good time. You're really more there for his wife, Danny. She's way better than Rudy, but, we'll leave that for another day. But dig deep into those piggy banks real quick and help raise money for the American Cancer Society. Listen, it's such a I almost cursed there. Ooh, that was close. It's such a crappy disease. It really is. And we've all been somewhat affected by it, whether it was you personally, a family member, a friend. With the hashtag cancer sucks, man. So seriously, even if you could donate $2, you might think, what does $2 do? But if everybody gives $2, think about how many people there are and how much $2 goes a long way. So if you guys can dig in there, if you need any questions, just head on over
if you go over
to Crazy for Disney, and they can direct you.
Yeah, if you go out to their site, they'll be more than happy to direct you if it's not apparent. I'll be honest with you, I had a great time talking with Rudy and Danny. Really enjoyed being a part of their show. We had a fun conversation, and it was really an honor to be a part of their show. We had a great time when we had Rudy over on our show for Give Kids the World. And it just also goes to show that when Disney podcasters come together for different causes, we in our different communities come together for basically different ways of being able to help different people. And I think that's really what it's all about. It's not whose show is the best, which show has the biggest audience and everything else like that. It's just say, hey, you know what? We all have a common love for Disney. Now let's have a common love for each other and support one another for everything that we're going through, or helping others and giving magic in other people's lives. Isn't that what it's really all about? Isn't it real? I mean, seriously. So, yeah. But yeah, go over there, and if you got a few bucks, go ahead and give a few bucks. And at the same time, I'll go ahead and tell everybody, I posted on the page earlier today, we're still accepting donations for Give Kids the World. Danny and I are going to start our final preparations for the Indie Disney Meet August 25th. And Hey, lo and behold, Danny actually had his plane ticket to Indianapolis all bought like more than a month before the actual event.
That's crazy.
I'm actually pretty
That
impressed.
is wild.
I'm actually pretty impressed.
Hey, listen, real quick, Rudy, if you're still in here, send us the link. We'll post that link up. Listen, they do a great show and they do it for free. I don't like to pat myself on the back very often, but I think we do a pretty well job. Pretty.
You're tired, aren't you?
We do a job well done over here as well, and nobody charges you for anything. Do we ask for a little donation for Give Kids the World? Sure. Do we tell you, hey, look all this cool merchandise we have, go buy it? Sure. But we don't ask you to pay for our podcast. There are a lot of shows that do. We have never done that. So in lieu of paying for our podcast or paying for another podcast, donate the $5, donate the $25, donate whatever you can, help out Give Kids the World, help Crazy with Rudy and Crazy for Disney with the Cancer Society. With that being said, everybody, Chris, take us away.
You got it. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home.
All right, you crazy animals. I hope you all had a wonderful Tuesday evening listening to Mr. Chris's trip report. I'm going to start having to come up with some elaborate reasons why Chris isn't here. Like, he joined the circus just to throw you guys off the scent.
Yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. If I'm not here, I know people are going to say, oh, he's probably at Disney. There's a lot of reasons why I'm not here. And, but, I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't going to lie to you. You ask me, I'll tell you the truth. I may not answer you until after I get back. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's as simple as that. You guys mean too much to me. So sorry about that, Danny.
No, you're good. So everybody head on over. Like I said, you can still donate over at the Crazy for Disney page with the Cancer Society. You can always still donate for our charity with the Give Kids the World Indie Disney meet right around the corner. But something that's more closer on the horizon, that's going to be Thursday's night show, where we break down the entire menu of Food and Wine Festival, and we're going deep on this menu. So with that being said, everybody, tuck your kids in tight, wear your seatbelts, drink your cranberry juice. I'm Uncle Danny. I'll see you all on Thursday.
And I'm Mr. Chris. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I surely hope that you enjoyed our little chat this evening as much as I enjoyed providing it to you. By all means, I really hope that you go ahead and share out the show and you share it with your friends. But I'll tell you, most of all, we're just really appreciative that everybody is here. And we really love you. We really care about you. And thank you for being a part of our broadcasting family. But until we meet again, and hopefully it'll be soon, we hope you have a wonderful and magical night. Take care.